All right, hey everybody. In this video, I want to talk about cash cycles in architecture and engineering firms. So, cash cycles is maybe a tough topic to talk about, right? You're not going to deal with this unless you're maybe a project manager. More than likely, you're really going to only deal with this if you're an owner, uh, principal, CFO, right? Those are the things that really deal with cash conversion cycles within architecture and engineering firms. So, to help explain what I mean by cash conversion cycles, it's really from the time you bill to the time you receive cash, right? The time you start to do work till the time you start to receive it. The easiest way to think about this in like e-commerce or maybe even Walmart, right? Like a cash conversion cycle for like e-commerce is, payment is immediate, right? But it's actually not immediate online. It takes about 3 days to process that payment through whatever processor, right? Stripe or PayPal or Visa, MasterCard, you name it. It takes them a few days to process that payment to then send the vendor cash, right? So you buy a widget, right? Or let's just, I like books, obviously. So let's say I buy a book off of Barnes and Noble and I pay with a credit card, right? So that payment is, effectively immediate to me, but it takes 3 days for Barnes and Noble to receive the cash that I paid them via credit card into their bank account. So it's a 3 day cash conversion cycle. Now it takes a little longer, like weekends, but 3 days is the like standard processing time for a credit card. Now, when we talk about we have in A&E firms, right? So it's actually a lot worse, right? Because basically you're paying, it's taking you longer to collect money, collect cash to then like pay payroll and all this other stuff. So as a business, you need to have a lot more cash on hand at all times to basically run through payroll, operating expenses, all that, until you collect your payments. So the shorter your cash conversion cycle is, the better and healthier as a business you're going to be. So what this means in an A&E firm is that you work for a month, right? So as I'm recording this, we're in March. So you're going to work all of March. You're going to bill at the end of the month for the work that you've done. So you're already behind anywhere from 1 to 30 days of work, right? For that project, and probably more than that, right? Because you're going to try to do this on like the 25th. So you get it to them by the end of the month to where, they're going to pay you in 30 days for that. So realistically, you have, 5-10 days of slack in February that you're going to then bill for in March. So you're going to bill for all the work that you've done the past 30 days, let's say, here in March. And then it's going to take you at least 30 days to then collect that money. So your cash conversion cycle is effectively 60 days, right? 30 days worth of work, 30 days to get paid for your work. Now, where this can also get tricky is if you're on a pay when paid contract, to where the architect, let's say you're an MEP firm and the architect is who you're billing, and then the architect, would have to bill the owner. So you invoice the architect, they invoice the owner pays the architect, and then pays you after that. So you send an invoice, the architect then sends on their invoice, right? So let's just say that all happens in March. So in March 25th, you send your invoice to the architect. The architect on the 1st of April sends their invoice to the owner. Then the owner has 30 days to pay the architect. And then there's a term in there from when the architect gets paid to when you get paid, right? Maybe it's 5 days, 10 days, 14 days, 30 days. So that delays it even more, right? So you sent the invoice to the architect. They then, on a pay when paid, whenever they get paid, then they have to pay you within whatever the time period is, right? 3 to 14 days for that first check to clear to then pay you. And so it just delays everything on. So that could be a 60-day cash conversion cycle. Now, when you get into government projects, things like that, you invoice and then they have 90 days to pay. So again, you go into these long payment cycles where you have to effectively be the bank for 90 days for all this work. So your team's going to work for 90 days and then you'll get paid. Is kind of a problem. So that's how the cash conversion cycle works. Now, if you can do more work in that same period of time, so let's say for a standard project, or any given project, it takes you 2 months to do that work, right? To get to like a design document level takes you 2 months, right? So this is a bigger project, maybe 100,000 square feet school, something like that. So it would take you 2 months to do design documents for a 100,000 square foot building, let's say. And so if you were able to shrink that down to 1 month, you would effectively increase your cash conversion cycle. It would double your cash conversion cycle, right? You could bill for more of the project in less time. So, because even if you finished, again, let's say you build on the 25th of the month, even if you finished it on the 29th, you wouldn't have been able to bill for it because it wasn't complete when you invoiced. So you'd have to wait another 30 days to be able to do that. Or if it was on the 15th of the month, right, you're waiting another 10 days to then invoice for it, to then collect. So because of, how firms deal with their accounts payable and receivable, typically it's, around the first of the month that they write checks and or cut checks and receive invoices. So now you're looking at, again, to try to condense everything into 1 month. So you get it into one billing cycle instead of two billing cycles, which again allows you to just increase your cash conversion, and basically collect more cash sooner. So that's part of the benefit of automation, is in this cash conversion cycle and the financial health of the company. You can do more in less time. And that just allows you to bill for like design documents in month one rather than in month 2, 3, or 4, right? You'd bill, let's say if it was 2 months, you bill 50% on month one, 50% on month two, wait your 30, 60 days, whatever it is. But when you start to use automation, you get to push all that cash forward and collect it sooner, which is pretty cool, right? Because at the end of the day, we are all about making sure that everybody gets paid, makes some money, and allow you to, again, have a healthy business moving forward. So that's cash conversion cycles and how they would work in A&E firms. Hopefully you found this valuable, and stay tuned for the next video.